Pronouns change form when they change case. These changes are most clearly illustrated among the personal pronouns. When determining the correct pronoun form choices provided on the test, determine whether the pronoun is subjective, possessive, or objective. Okay, as mentioned with pronouns, you need to determine whether the forms are subjective, possessive, or objective. So I brought up a little chart here to try and get you to organize your thoughts here. First person. For first person, you're talking about the words I. Just like in literature, you're reading a story in first person. It's determined because you see the word I. So the possessive form of I is my or mine, and the objective is me. For second person, you're always looking at the words you. And for the possessive, it's yours or you, and the objective is you. Now, third person, those are your he, she, and its. All right, your possessive, his, her, hers, or its, and him, her, and it. Notice here, for the possessive form, something is its, but it doesn't have the apostrophe. That's something you might see on the test. Make sure that you understand the apostrophe on its means it is. So always stretch that out when you're checking for answers. And then we have the plural forms here as well in the chart. First person plural is we, I and someone else. Ours or us. And second person you have you, yours, or you. And then the third person, they, theirs, and them. So I would look over this chart just to make sure you're comfortable with it, looking at across it. If all of that makes sense to you and that's the way that you typically organize it, you're in pretty good shape. So let's move on to the next. So this is where they're coming out on the ACT. A common pronoun mistake is choosing the wrong answer between I and me. As the chart before illustrates, you use I when it's the subject of a verb, the subjective, right? And you use me when it's the object of a verb or follows a preposition, the objective. So while that chart seemed very basic, this is one way to take a look at it. Because people often make mistakes when they're talking about more than one person. Here's an example that might sound okay, but as you see, it's incorrect. My friends and I are going to the mall. Or should it be, my friends and me are going to the mall? Now, for this one, the first one is correct because I is the subject that's doing something. You're going to the mall. So you have that verb going, so then it has to be I. However, in everyday conversation, you may very well be comfortable with my friends and me, but that's incorrect when you have a verb after it. So ask yourself, is there an action? If so, if I'm doing that action, I've got to use I. Let's move on. The bus took my friends and me to the mall. Or the bus took my friends and I to the mall. So on this one, we got to ask, is it objective or are we the subject? Okay, in this one, the bus took my friends and me to the mall. That one is correct because me is the object of what the bus is taking. My bus is taking me. Depending on the sentence, if you're looking at it where it's near the end, chances are it might be the object where me would be correct. You have to ask yourself, is this the object of something being done or is it doing the action itself? If it's doing the action, right, you're going to use I. And if it's the object of some action or something happening, you're going to use me. Okay, another way that pronouns in their cases are used, and sometimes it's confusing, and the ACT is going to want to test your knowledge of, is the use of there, and there, the apostrophe. You're going to use there, T-H-E-R-E, when referring to a place, or with the verb be to show the existence of a thing. I see there are rows of corn, as an example. Okay, now you're using T-H-E-I-R, the pronoun, so that's why it fits into this section, to indicate ownership or possession. I am going over to their house because they own that house. So think ownership, E-I-R. Think place, E-R-E. And then finally, you want to note that the words they are is a contraction for T-H-E-Y apostrophe R-E. Always when you see that apostrophe, stretch it out, say it as two words, and that'll help you determine whether or not it's going to make sense. Looking over pronoun forms and cases will help you make the right choice on the ACT English exam. And there's bound to be a few questions where you have to choose the correct form. Refer to the written portion of the website for more examples.